We'll be returning to our two big breaking news stories of the morning in just a little bit. For now, though, we want to take a look at the race for the Democratic presidential nomination because that race is on. Finally, two candidates stepping forward this week to challenge Hillary Clinton in the primaries. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. And a third candidate, former Rhode Island Governor Lincoln Chafee, is set to join the race this coming Wednesday. So what once seemed like a lonely debate stage for Hillary Clinton is suddenly blossoming with additional company. Yesterday morning in his home city of Baltimore, O'Malley taking the podium to announce his bid for president.
Today, to you and to all who can hear my voice, I declare that I am a candidate for President of the United States, and I am running for you.
O'Malley is positioning himself to the left of Hillary, arguing that he has a record of delivering on a progressive agenda as the governor of Maryland, and that his economic agenda lines up with the Elizabeth Warren wing of the Democratic Party.
I see the faces of so very many who have helped so many people in the life of our city and the life of our state. Together, we made our city a safer, healthier, and better place for kids. Together, we made our city believe again, and we invented a better and new way of governing called CityStat. And we got things done. We need to prosecute cheats. We need to reinstate Glass-Steagall. And if a bank is too big to fail without wrecking our nation's economy, then we need to break it up before it breaks us again.
Now, what is going to make O'Malley's strategy tough to pull off is that another candidate is also running hard to Clinton's left. That's Bernie Sanders. After holding his first campaign rally in Vermont on Tuesday, the liberal firebrand has been drawing large turnouts and events this week in Iowa and New Hampshire. And now, as we mentioned, there are reports that former Rhode Island Governor Lincoln Chafee will be officially entering the race this coming Wednesday. Chafee has been making the Iraq war his signature issue. He voted against it as a senator, and he says that Clinton's vote for it should disqualify her from the presidency. And also eyeing the race is former Virginia Senator Jim Webb, although he has not been very visible on the campaign trail so far. So Hillary has some real challengers now. Can any of them give her a real run? Let's ask the panel that question. So, panel, who wants to take this one first? O'Malley's in, Sanders is in, Chafee's getting in. Can any of these guys make Hillary sweat?
Can I ask a question? Is Hillary handpicking the people she's Lincoln Chafee and Bernie Sanders? Just one quick thing about Martin O'Malley. He is an extremely charismatic politician. He is well-spoken. He reminds me a little bit of Bill Clinton in that respect. He's got a problem, though, and that is that what happened in Maryland in the governor's race in 2014, which is that the...
So his lieutenant governor lost, the Republican won.
And basically, the Republican Hogan ran against the O'Malley record. He said, look, I'm going to repeal all these tax increases. And I think that could really hurt O'Malley's chances of saying... It'd be one thing if the voters, you know, validated his record, but they basically rejected it. But I would not count this guy out because he does have a lot of charm and he's very likable.
Well, let's to put this in some perspective, let's just put the polling we got this week on the Democratic race up so you can see how they stack up. Hillary, not surprisingly, in first place, 57%. Look at that. Bernie Sanders getting a little traction, at least, at 15, and nobody else really registering, Eleanor.
Yeah. I must say that's the first time I've heard Martin O'Malley being called charismatic, because most Democrats look at him and think that he's, you know, too white bread, that he doesn't seem to be inspiring anybody. But I think you're right. I mean, he basically fashioned himself after the Clintons. He's their protege. And so, to some extent, it's shocking that he's challenging her, but I think he really wants to be part of the Clinton team if they get to the White House. And so it's going to be difficult for him.
It's an interesting way to get
well,
there, huh?
Yeah. Well, he's got to criticize her, but not too much, you know, and get that formula just right. And I think Bernie Sanders is the one that Democrats look at him. He's pure. You realize he's all about the issues. This isn't, and he'd like to be president, but it's not about personal ambition. At his age, I mean, he's really out there championing these issues, and so there's an authenticity about him that people find very appealing. And I think he'll do well in New Hampshire, and he'll be seen as a send a message to Hillary candidate. People who vote for Bernie Sanders are going to be voting for Hillary Clinton in November, assuming she's the nominee.
The interesting thing about O'Malley there is that he's the only candidate in the Democratic field right now, announced at least, who's actually been willing to go after Hillary Clinton, kind of painting her as an opportunist for moving on same-sex marriage and moving on immigration and driver's licenses and so on. The point about the knock on O'Malley is that nobody knows who he is. And his own, the people close to him, his own aides, if you talk to them, they will admit this privately. They believe that once he gets out there and once he gives more speeches like that, he helped himself a lot yesterday by firing up the base in a way that a lot of people had doubted that he was able to do. If he does more of that, the hope that the campaign team is making is that people will like him a lot more, and people will see him as not only the authentic progressive in the race, but someone who can actually win, someone who can draw a generational contrast with Hillary Clinton in the way that Bernie Sanders clearly cannot, someone who has the resume, who's been a mayor and a governor for 2 terms. To Steve's point, though, I think the 2010 election is going to matter more. He won in a very, very Republican year. In Maryland, he was reelected.
I
has that argument to make.
But I wonder, though, like the idea of firing up the base, coming at Hillary from the left. It feels to me like
it worked before.
Well, but it feels to me like how are you going to compete with Bernie Sanders for that?
Right.
Because Eleanor is saying, I mean, this is purity. This is whether you like him or not. You have to say this is a guy who is telling you everything he believes. This is pure. This is authentic. And Martin O'Malley seems to me a much more conventional politician who is now trying to convince the base. Oh yeah, I'm one of you. But Sanders is one of them.
The bigger problem with that is that there's little space to Hillary Clinton's left. This notion that the left is angry with her, that's not really true. There's some activists that want her to say more and be louder, but she's got more support among self-identified liberal Democrats than self-identified moderate or conservative Democrats.
Yeah, there's not that much room substantively. It's really a matter of tone.
Right.
And that's where Sanders, again, captures the tone. O'Malley, at this point, you feel like he's kind of practiced in front of the mirror trying to rev it up.
Yeah, I gotta say, like this will sound mean. I have been saying Martin O'Malley to me does seem like the Tim Pawlenty of the Democratic race. I mean, it made sense on paper and it never caught on, and I've been wondering.
But here's the thing. Two interesting things about this is one is this is all about whether Hillary falters, whether these scandals pick up.
Right.
And what I found most interesting about this whole discussion is the name that you brought up a little bit earlier is Joe Biden. That if Hillary falters, I think the party migrates to a leader like Joe Biden, and it's interesting to me that he hasn't really even been in the discussion.
Well, it's true. That's the thing I've heard as well. Look, the doomsday scenario for Hillary Clinton, if she were to lose in these early primaries, and that's a big leap to say. But if that were to happen, then maybe it's not the current field that the nominee emerges from, that it's somebody from the sidelines, Elizabeth Warren, Biden, somebody like that. Anyway, this race, as we say, it is on. We weren't sure there'd be a Democratic race. There is one. Okay. Still ahead, more reaction on the passing of Beau Biden. Plus, in the wake of stunning allegations this week against former House Speaker Dennis Hastert, how solid is that legal case against him?